Okay, Parliament is also about modernity. It's also maintaining its tradition. And behind me, you can see the entire cavalcade of the President after conclusion of his opening address. That's a joint address on the first day of the budget session. And in a short while from now, what happens is this entire cavalcade is actually going to accompany him and take him back to Rashtrapati Bhavan. Now, when talking about the budget session is important not just because it's going to present the budget, because that's something which all of us are keeping our eyes open on, but it's important because it comes on the threshold of important state elections as well. So despite the fact that the Prime Minister said that, I know the elections round the corner, but it should not have an impact on the working of the Parliament, I certainly don't think it's going to be like that. There's definitely going to be a spillover effect of the battles at the state level inside the Parliament as well. Just getting a sense of from inside the Parliament, as you can see, there's a construction work still going on. Behind me, you can see those green shafts, and there are those dividers. That's where it's a part of the Central Vista project. That's where the reconstruction is really taking place. And because of that, there are a lot of restrictions, and many areas have been cordoned off. Restrictions are also because of the COVID times. For example, this time round, the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha will work on different shifts. For example, the Rajya Sabha is going to be working from say 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. There's going to be a sanitization which takes place, and then the Lok Sabha resumes its work from 4 p.m. and to around 10 p.m. And of course, there are going to be those kind of dividers between the members of Parliament so that there's minimum interaction, and RT-PCR test, all of that has been done. And of course, a doubly vaccinated. So these are the COVID protocols which are being followed. Now, I'm just getting a sense of what happens inside the Parliament and why the budget session is important. And there you can see the budget, the Parliament, the splendorous Parliament building right behind me. Why is the budget session important? As he pointed out, this is a budget, of course, which is being presented, the economic survey, which is also being presented today by the finance minister. She's going to be tabling it. And it is actually a look ahead and also a report card. Now, this time around, the budget becomes important because despite the fact that the finance minister and the ministry has been talking about green shooting of the economy or some kind of a resurgence taking place in the COVID times, there are still worries about job generation. There are important sectors, for example, the corporate sector. They've been asking for more incentives. Sectors which have really been badly hit are like the hospitality sector, the tourism sector. All of them do want SOPs. Will that be kept in mind? What's very interesting also, whenever the elections round the corner, the budget also gives out a little bit to almost every state which is going to polls. Remember, ahead of the Bengal elections, railway lines, other kind of infrastructure projects. Is this what is going to happen in this budget session also? That's going to be interesting to watch. Which is why I said that, the politics and economics of it can never ever be detached. Now, if the budget session comes close on the heels of the state elections, then there is that spillover effect. You will see a lot of what is happening at the state level having an impact on what is going to happen inside the Parliament. Now, let's take a quick example about the all-important talk of opposition unity. Now, in Goa, the AAP and the Congress are completely fighting with each other, each accusing the other of being a B team of the BJP. Now, can you see that opposition unity over here? Now, in Punjab, the AAP and the Congress are also against each other. Can you see that opposition unity here? I did speak to a large number of them, and they've gone on record to say that two things are different. One is an issue-based support. There are issues like price rise, Kisans, even Pegasus, on which all of us will naturally end up speaking in the same language. That does not mean that we are going to stop becoming opponents or competitors as far as the state polls are concerned. Also, these are issues where our voters and constituencies are watching, and therefore we have to keep that in mind. And those are the factors which are going to be the constraints on us, where we have to end up in speaking in one voice. For example, when Sonia Gandhi recently held a meeting with her party colleagues, she said, I'm reaching out to like-minded parties, and we want all of us to speak in that one language, in one voice, and to take on the BJP. Now, how does the government look at it? Well, they are going to use what they call this lack of opposition unity or issue based on what they call the convenient opposition unity to their advantage. Also, BJP does this flow management extremely well. There are parties like the BJD or the AIADMK which have often ended up bailing out the government on key legislations. And this is something which is the backroom negotiations are all about. Well, as a wrap on what is going to be important in this budget session, well, issues are likely to come up. Privilege notices have already been given by the Congress party and on the Pegasus issue against the IT ministry, saying that they have lied on the floor of the House in the light of the new revelations which have come in from a foreign publication. That's going to be one issue. Kisans, price rise. All of those issues are going to be raised. But on a day-to-day basis, whatever is happening at the state level, the language being used in the campaigns, all of that is likely to be coming up in an important session of the parliament, which is called the first half of the budget session.